Good evening, my dear friends. How are you today? I am having an excellent Saturday. I love Saturdays around our house. It's a lot of fun, and I have been on my own little journey recently, and I can't believe I haven't talked about this before, but I feel like this is the perfect day to talk about it because I've been feeling like I'm seeing it in a new light and I'm like relearning some of the fundamental principles of it. So it's a perfect day to talk about how to become aware of your thoughts and what to do with your thoughts when you become aware of them. We so often just want to like jump in and change our thoughts and be like, plug them in so that I can start feeling better, but that just doesn't, our brains don't work like that. It's really important to just kind of get to know ourselves, become aware of what we're thinking, and then meet ourselves where we are. So this is what I want to talk to you today about, because some people are actually naturally really good at being aware of their feelings, and other people, well, their thoughts, and other people are really good at their emotions and noticing what they feel, and some people are good at noticing their actions. I am one of the emotion people. Like I can easily notice my emotions. I can easily find it in my body. I can easily know what I'm feeling all the time. But when it comes to my thoughts, it's a little more difficult for me because my thoughts are just so rushed and I jump to conclusions so quickly. I had troubles with this when I was doing my student teaching in college. My professor said that, well, my mentor teacher said that he recognized the rushed thought in me because he does the same thing. We just jump to conclusions so quickly. And I think the human brain is really good at that. So there's probably a good chance that you know what I'm talking about, that you do that too. So it's just, for me, it feels like I'm bloop, 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 all over the place. But so that's what I've been working on for a long, long time, and I've come a long way. But actually last night I was having a conversation with my life coach, who's incredible. I love her. I love getting coached, you guys. Even though I self-coached myself a lot, and I'm really good at self-coaching, there's just comes a point, I think, when you really can't see exactly what's going on in your life because you believe your thoughts so much. Now, it's totally possible to just self-coach yourself, but really you're so close to your thoughts and you're so emotional about them. Sometimes it's hard to see how they could possibly be not true. But anyway, my coach has helped me so much to see just like how my thoughts are causing my own pain. And last night in our conversation, at the end of the call, it's an hour long, she said, do you realize that you judged your thoughts a few times throughout this call? You would say a thought and be like, but that's probably crazy, or this is terrible, or I shouldn't be thinking this, but and so you have your thought and then you judge it. Okay, and that is just adding more, and then you're kind of becoming uncomfortable with your thoughts. So even though you're recognizing your thoughts, you're still not quite comfortable with the way you are right now because you think it's wrong, that there's a wrong way to feel and there's a right way to feel. There's a wrong and a right. And I have come to realize that that is something that is has been ingrained in me, that there's a right and a wrong way to do just about everything. And I want to tell you right now that there is no wrong and right way to do most things in this life, okay? And I'm just always looking for well, what's the right way to do this? What's the right way to say this? What's the right way to feel? And if it's not the right way, then I'm judging it or I'm unsure. And so this practice will help you to just really, really become comfortable in who you are right now and meet yourself where you are. Because until then, I like to say you can't climb a mountain by starting from the top. You have to meet yourself where you are right now. And so it's really important to just come to terms with that and be okay with it. Be comfortable in the fact that your thoughts are causing you pain. Yeah, we all do it. Our thoughts are causing us pain. It's totally normal. And it's okay. Remove the judgment. And then if you judge yourself, learn to be okay with that too. Okay, so one of the best ways for me that I found to become aware of my thoughts is through thought download. So this is what? Am I just gonna when I first heard this term, I was do I just like put a chip in my head or something. That's ridiculous, obviously. Corny. But basically all it is like a journal entry. You're just like venting all of your thoughts, putting all of your thoughts down on paper, just a free write. You just write all your thoughts. You don't edit them. And then you go back and read them and realize that 99% of what you write is just thoughts. They're not facts at all. So you can do this at any time. I started doing it once every morning, and then throughout the day if I need to, if like an emotion comes up. So in the morning I just do it about whatever I'm thinking about, or maybe I could choose a topic like when I'm thinking about my business or my children or my relationship with my husband or anything like that. And you just type until you feel like you got all your thoughts out there, however long they may be. Maybe you could end up writing a book. But just do that whenever. And then throughout the day, if you ever feel like any kind of negative emotion or something like stuck that's like bothering you, you can just whip out your notebook and start writing. I have this notebook here. It's super cute. I got it at the dollar store. And I just put all my thought downloads in here, all my training notes, everything that has to do with my business in here. And it's been really great. I like to say, find a safe place to put it. And you're going to be, when you write your thought download, you're going to write petty thoughts, mean thoughts, all your thoughts. You cannot edit them, okay? And then I like to say that, but you can totally burn it afterwards or delete it. I used to type my thought downloads, and I still do sometimes because my mind is thinking so fast and I type way faster than I can write. So I like to type my thought downloads sometimes, and then I will delete them afterwards. After I've like read through some of the thoughts and worked through some of them, then I just delete it because nobody needs that laying around. It's not something you have to go revisit. Like, oh, good times, I was venting. So thought downloads are really the best way, I think, to become aware of your thoughts, because a lot of times, even like right now as I'm talking, I have like thoughts, but they're not completely formed until they come out my mouth. Blech, you know, like I'm not reading from a script. There are thoughts in there, and then as they come out, I'm like, whoa. So as you write, and you could even, instead of writing it down, you could even talk to a person. If you're having problems with like a specific person, then find someone who is neutral about that person, like a third-party objective person, and talk to them about it, because as you say things out loud, you will start to realize what it is that you're thinking. Okay, but I love to write it down because then I can go back and read it and just like highlight and underline and dissect my thoughts and be like, very interesting. So that's a thought download. It's an incredible tool to become aware of your thoughts. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it's really important to become comfortable with your thoughts. And so today I was just like noticing my thoughts and trying to not change them. And it was actually kind of hard because then when you notice a thought, you're like, what do I do with this thought? Do I just like allow myself to keep thinking it? Do I focus on it? I'm trying not to change it. So do I just like, what do I do? And one of my favorite defaults to go to is to just like be fascinated with it. Like, interesting. Like, I just noticed that I was thinking that thing. Like, I noticed that I've noticed something about myself, that I am kind of like constantly comparing myself with other people, like not on a conscious level, but just, and I noticed it today while I was sitting and I was watching some people just like walk by. I was like, oh, that girl's prettier than me. And I was like, what? Why would I think that? And then I judged myself, of course, like, why would I think that? So I just noticed that I had that thought. And then I noticed that I judged that thought. And I was like, that's fascinating. It's incredibly fascinating that I would do that. And what we'll want to do is to go into like, why? Like, our brain will want to be like, well, why did I do that? Like, what's causing that? And you might like start to go back into your childhood and your memories and be like, oh, well, it's because I was raised this way, or because like one time this happened and it was a terrible experience. Now, I do not do that. Just don't do that, okay? Don't. Try to take as much weight off of the thought as possible. just like sometimes we have random thoughts just pop into our heads that are extremely cray-cray. Like, what if I jumped off this building right now? Have you ever thought that? Have you ever gone up, like up somewhere high on like a monument or something and then thought like, what if I just jumped? Or like you're carrying something hot and you're like, what if I just dropped this suit? Oh my gosh. You don't stew about that thought for like days or hours or even minutes. You're probably just like, that's bizarre. Why would I even think that? And then you keep going about your day. It's not going to be something the next day you're like, I can't believe I thought I was going to drop the soup. You know, like you think, oh, that's weird. Why would I have that thought? Thoughts just pop into our heads sometimes. They do. They just come. And so we have the power to just be like, that's weird, that's bizarre, and then keep going. But the more weight that you give to a thought, the more like, the more judgment you give to a thought, like, I can't believe I thought that. Like, why would I think that? Then we just start ruminating. And ruminating is like when we're just judging our past, thinking about how it went, how it could be different. We start to like dig. And then it gets us into this terrible cycle where our negative emotion that was supposed to be a passing emotion has now turned into a very spiraling, deepening, downward emotion. And that can often lead to depression. So it's really important to just kind of like, don't give a lot of weight to your thoughts, because most of them aren't even true and a lot of them are painful. So I would just meet them with interest. Like, that's really interesting. Like, that's bizarre. That's strange. It could be like, well, see, one thing I like to do is that I think that our brain has evolved to always serve us. It's there to keep us alive. It keeps us alert. It has incredible capabilities. And I believe that 100% of them, it's trying to serve us in some way and help us stay alive, right? Even if it doesn't make sense in our modern world, like it's not actually going to keep us alive, but it's trying to. Like, it's trying to keep us safe. It's trying to keep us from emotional harm. It's trying to do all these things to serve us. So thank you, brain. That's really nice. But the brain doesn't understand the complexities of our modern society and how we're not in real danger and all sorts of other stuff. Our brain is just a tool, and it's there to help us. It's there to serve us. So one thing I like to think when I'm like, oh, I wonder why I thought that. Because, and this is the answer that I tell myself to that question. Because I thought it was serving me in some way. I thought it was serving me in some way. So if I see a girl, I'm like, oh, she's prettier than me. I thought that was serving me in some way. Well, I don't think it is serving me. But I thought it was. My brain thought it would for some reason. So I don't quite understand why, and I don't really need to delve into that. But now I've become aware, and when you really become aware of your feelings, your thoughts, then you can learn to change them and become comfortable with them, meet yourself where you are, and you just need to become aware. You don't need to judge them, okay? So let's talk about, I like to think of it like a math equation. So in math, there's no drama, just like drama free. 2 + 3 = 5 every time. Nobody's gonna get really like upset about that and be like, oh my gosh, like I keep putting 2 and 3 together, I'm getting 5. What is wrong? I want 6. It's so frustrating. I hate math. It's so dramatic. Like, no. So like when we think a negative emotion, we get or when we think a negative thought, we get a negative emotion. Or when we think XYZ, we get XYZ emotion. It's like you plug it in and it comes out the other side. So if you're thinking like, she's prettier than me, oh, I feel terrible. Like, well, yeah, good job. You're becoming aware now. Like, just pay attention to how the thought makes you feel, and then be interested in that. They're like, oh, isn't that fascinating? That when I think that girl's prettier than me, then I feel like a little disappointed, or I feel a little like twinge in my stomach, like, oh, that's really interesting, because this equals this feeling. This thought equals this feeling. That is fascinating. There's nothing wrong with us. We're completely normal, and our bodies and our minds are working just the way they're supposed to. And if you're feeling negative, it's because you're inputting negative equations into your calculator. So if you're getting 5 and you want 6, well, if you're getting 5, it's because you're putting either 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2 or 4 plus 1, something to get 5. So it's not strange. There's something weird going on here. This is all normal. And so next time you, when you write down your thoughts, you can just notice how they make you feel. I really like to focus on that too. Is that like, how does this thought make me feel? And no judgment there. Just like, doesn't feel so great. Why would I do this to myself? Again, don't try to answer that question. You think it's serving you. That's why you're doing it to yourself. So congratulate yourself for noticing it. Congratulate yourself for becoming more aware. Like, especially if you didn't do a thought download, you're just walking around and you notice that you notice a thought. Congratulate yourself. Good job. You're becoming aware of your thoughts. This is a really important skill. You're learning a skill, and it's not always easy, and you just did a good job of it. So even if it's a negative thought, like I'm a terrible mom, like, oh, I just became aware of my thought. Yes, good job. So I don't think any of these thoughts are true. I don't want to put any weight on them, but like, yay, I'm becoming aware of them, and the more aware I am, the more power I have over them. So good job on becoming aware. So yeah, don't try to solve anything. Take a compassionate approach. Remember that you are, you're just having thoughts and you're believing them. That's it. You're going to continue to have thoughts after you become aware, and even when you've learned to bring in more positive thoughts or different thoughts, you're still going to have a random negative thought every once in a while, but you may learn not to believe them. That's the skill here. Really is not. It's pretty difficult to control the thoughts coming in, but the part is like, can you learn to believe certain thoughts and disbelieve other thoughts? Okay? And so when you do your thought download and you highlight your thoughts and you're like, okay, there they are, then that's when you can go in and then you can go and kind of dissect them, not judge them, dissect them. So here's what I mean. This is something that Byron Katie has done in her incredible work. So out of all the self-help people and life coaches that I've ever listened to and met, I have to say that Byron Katie has blown my mind wide open and changed my life. Byron Katie is incredible, and I highly recommend any book written by her. So far, I've only read one, 1,000 Names for Joy. Get your brain ready, because if you read that, it's going to blow your mind and stretch your limits to your thought process. I promise you. It's incredible, and I love Byron Katie, and I love her for the work she's done. So these are her 4 questions, but I do have to say that I tweaked number 4 because her 4th question never really resonated with me. I could never get myself to quite understand it. So I tweaked it to make it make more sense to me, but it's still basically the same thing. So let me give you an example first, and we'll walk you through it. I did a thought download. This was a while ago. I don't even have a date on it, but it was one of the ones that I typed on my computer and never deleted. So I'm just going to read a few of the thoughts for you. Remember, I am not judging these thoughts. Okay. And this is how I felt in the moment. So I was being honest with myself. I was being my most authentic self and learning to love myself as is and meeting myself where I was without judgment. Okay, so I said, I honestly feel like I'm just a failing mom. I just rack my brain for how to be the best mom, and there's nothing there. I've been in survival mode for so long, I feel like everything is just running amok. Okay. So there's 3 or 4 or 5 thoughts right there that are just thoughts, not even probably true. So number 1, let's choose one thought. Let's see, everything is running amok. Everything is just running amok. Number 1, is this true? Now, I might be tempted in my moment, if I think of this, to be like, yes, it's absolutely true. Of course it is. So if you're tempted to say yes on number 1, then just wait for number 2. Can I know that this is true? Is there any way to know this? Everything is running amok. Is there any way to prove this in a court of law? No. What does that even mean? Everything is running amok. Like what? What is everything to begin with, and what exactly is amok? You know? So there's no way to know that this is true for sure, and there's no way to prove it. Okay? So number 3, how do I feel when I believe this? Everything is running amok. I feel kind of out of control. I feel a little bit like desperate. Like, yeah, desperate and out of control often go together. Number 4, I didn't have enough space to write the whole thing, but it was, if I believed the opposite, how would I feel and behave? So everything is running amok. What is the opposite of that? Everything is going just peachy. Everything is perfect. Everything is wonderful. Okay, so if I believed that thought, it's just alternate universe, alternate reality right now, how would I feel? Everything is going perfectly. Everything is wonderful. Well, I would probably feel like peaceful. Peaceful is like my go-to because I want to feel peace all the time. I love it. Although it's not always the best, most motivating emotion, but peace, and I'd feel like I would feel like I had space to, you know, do what I wanted to. And so space to be myself, like, you know, time and space to be myself. Anyway, that's how I would feel if I believed that everything was going well. And I would behave. So how would I feel and behave? I would behave happily. I would be happy to take on challenges. I would feel organized. I would be organized. Okay, that's how I would behave. Now, just going through those can really just like open your mind to how your thought is optional. Remember that when you write these down and you go back and you underline your thoughts, one thing I want you to remember is that all of these thoughts are optional. You're choosing them, whether consciously or subconsciously. You are choosing these thoughts, and they're all optional. You don't have to think or believe any single one of them, okay? And so this thought that I'm thinking everything is running amok, that's an optional thought. And if I chose not to believe it, how would I feel? I'd feel much better, that's for sure. Sometimes just going through these 4 questions can honestly change everything and just allow you to let go of that thought and to disbelieve it. Other times it takes a little more work, and there's something I want to teach you about called flipping your thought. And this is another Byron Katie thing, and this was the part that really, really, like, I loved. So flipping the thought would be, for an example, I'll give you a thought. He doesn't like me. Okay, this thought, he doesn't like me, or she doesn't like me, so-and-so doesn't like me. That's a thought, right? It's optional. Is this true? Let's go through the 4 questions first, and then I'll show you what flipping is. So, he doesn't like me. Is this true? Yes, he doesn't like me. It's totally true. Number 2, can you know that this is true for a fact? Can you prove this? Can you ever know? No, I can't. Number 3, how do you feel when you believe this thought? He doesn't like me. Terrible. That's very terrible and like unloved and just dismal. It's horrible. Number 4, if I believed the opposite, how would I feel and behave? He likes me. I would act like I was somebody to be liked. I was a likable person. That's how I would act, and I would feel liked. I feel good, you know? Okay, so usually when we go through those 4 questions, it's a little bit eye-opening to what the possibility is. But sometimes we need a little bit more, and that's where we flip it. There's a million different ways that you can flip a thought, and it's just about how creative you can get with it. So the first flip is pretty obvious to me. He doesn't like me. We just do the opposite. He likes me. That's a flip. Another way you can flip it is changing the who's, so the me and the he, just flip them. So I don't like him. Another way you can flip it is I don't like me. Another way you can flip it is he doesn't like him. So what ways can you like move these components of the sentence around to make like new ideas and new thoughts that all come from this one? So if he doesn't like me, the main 3 I thought of was I don't like me, he doesn't like him, and I don't like him. Now what you do is you find 3 pieces of evidence for every single one of these new flips to how that's true. So he doesn't like me. My first flip is I don't like me. How might that be true? What evidence can you find to I don't like me? Well, I believe him. Like, if he acts a certain way towards me, I believe that he's right. So clearly I'm agreeing with him. If he says he doesn't like me and then I feel bad, I'm agreeing with him. I'm not likable. I don't like myself. That's evidence right there. And then it's just a little bit eye-opening to like, oh, I am doing this to myself. It is optional. That's great. Remember, we're meeting ourselves where we are without judgment. So just because we think I don't like myself doesn't mean we have to go into the pits of despair. We're just trying to open our awareness here. So the second one, he doesn't like him. I love that one because one of my favorite phrases is hurt people hurt people. People don't go around hurting others or hurting their feelings on purpose unless there's some kind of pain in them. They just don't, because they're projecting their feelings. Okay, so he probably doesn't like him. Otherwise, he wouldn't say such mean things to me. And then I don't like him. How is this true? Well, I'm pretty upset at him right now for saying those things. And so he doesn't like me, I don't like him. Like, I'm pretty much doing the same thing to him that he's doing to me. Right? I love that because I find in most cases that that's true. That most of the time when someone's doing something to us and then we get mad and we react, we almost always kind of do like the same thing back to them or the same thing to someone else or the same thing in general in our lives. So just be careful of that. And so when you flip it, try to prove to yourself that each of these new thoughts is true. Maybe we should do another example. Let's use my thought download for an example. Okay, I'm a failing mom. Okay. I'm failing as a mom. All right, is this true? Yes. You guys, I really don't think this is true. I probably did in the moment though, honestly. Number 2, can I know that this is true? Is there any like Scantron test that you can take that says like, ding, 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 you're failing as a mom? No, there's not, okay? In case you're like, is there? I want to take that. Number 3, how do I feel when I believe this? I'm a failing mom. Well, I feel like a failure. I feel terrible. I feel like there's no point trying, right? How do I feel and behave if I believe the opposite were true? I'm like the best mom. I think I would like go all out with my kids if I was like, I'm the best mom. I would like take them to the park every day and just like do everything I could to live up to that standard if I thought I was the best mom. And I would probably feel like confident about my ability to mother, right? So if I believed that thought, that's how I feel and believe. And then like generally once I think about number 4 and like how good I would feel if I thought that, it's like, wow, that option is available to me right now. What am I doing with this failing mom one? You know, like you see how thinking and feeling a certain way would change your behavior. And that's the only thing that's changed was your thought. And once you realize that that's available to you right now, you're like, what? And a lot of times it's easier to just let your old thought go at that point. But let's flip it. So I'm failing as a mom. Okay. How can we flip that thought? I'm not failing as a mom. Okay, cool. So how is this true? Well, I still feed my kids breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or my husband feeds them dinner. Somebody feeds them dinner, right? I'm like making sure that they get cared for. So I'm definitely not failing as a mom, right? There's some evidence. Now you could think of anything as evidence for that. And then another way we could flip it is flipping failure into like the opposite of that, which is like best. So I'm the best mom. Okay, cool. What's some evidence that I'm the best mom? Well, I'm the best mom for my kids. That's for dang sure because I love them. a ton, and I know them after 3 years of raising them. I know them better than anybody else. So I'm definitely, maybe not the best mom for every kid out there, but I'm definitely the best mom for my kids. Those are 2 ways to flip that sentence and get some evidence for it. So you can do that with any thought, and that flipping it is just so fun for me. That's where all of the real deep change has come from me, being like, whoa, all of this is available to me right now. And something really interesting that Byron Katie said, not this one, is, I don't let go of my thoughts. I meet them with understanding, then they let go of me. So our thoughts come and go. Sometimes it seems as they please. But when we meet them with understanding, it opens our eyes to see all of the flaws in our thinking. And the more you do this, the more you're able to just let them flow by and just stop believing them so dang much. Byron Katie says, she said it, so excuse my French. She says, a bitch is just a person who believes their thoughts. So anybody who is cruel to you, or if you're cruel to somebody, it's just because you believe your thoughts. And most people do believe their thoughts if they're not trying to become aware of them. So anyone who is mean to you, or you're mean to yourself, there's no reason to judge, because it's just you're believing every thought that comes to your mind. You don't question them. I worked with a woman who I did a workshop with a group of women, and one woman, I recall, she had a life-changing moment, aha moment within that class, just from these 4 questions. And it was about her son, and I asked if anyone wanted to share with the class what they had gained after asking these 4 questions about their thoughts. And she raised her hand and was like, I can't believe this. This is incredible. And she just had this realization that what her son did had nothing to do with her, whether or not she was a good mom, because her kids made their own choices, and she believed the new thoughts. She was able to get to a neutral place about it. And she told me now, months later, that it's not even an issue for her anymore. She was able to let that thought go and pass on its way. So this can be such a powerful, powerful tool, you guys. And I hope that the thought downloads, that you really do that. And that you really ask these questions with bringing your whole heart to it, because sometimes you can just go through the motions, and I've done that too, and it's just not as powerful as when you're okay, is this true? And I want to know for realsies, I'm not just going through the motions here, but is this thought true? And your brain will tell you, or your heart or your soul will tell you, of course not. Will tell you the truth. A lot of psychologists, or life coaches and that kind of positive psychology movement, they believe that all the answers are there in our mind. And it's true, because anytime you ask a question, your brain will give you an answer right then and there. But then the deeper you search in your soul, the more you're going to find your truth. What's true for you? And then you're going to slough off all of this negativity that is not you. It doesn't define you. It's not you. Your thoughts are not you. Okay? Your thoughts come and they influence you. But once you meet them with understanding, then you can let them go. Okay, so I think I covered just about everything. So I think I might end just a little bit early tonight. I want you to remember to be genuine, to be authentic, because when you are genuine and authentic with yourself, you're honest, that's where love can abide the strongest. Remember, love is the most powerful emotion that you can choose to get the best results. When you are honest with yourself, then you're able to truly love yourself as you are, and you don't have to hide anything. And then when you're honest with yourself, you can be honest with the other people that you work with and that you know on a daily basis. We have a new leader in our church who is really, really young. Most of the time, the leaders in that position are like 40, 50 and beyond. He's like 32. And it's just kind of weird, like different in our church for such a young person to be called into this like leadership position. But he said that he was just completely honest with us and was like, look, you guys, I still wear skinny jeans and I still skateboard. And I still say, dude, okay? But when he talked to the congregation, he was literally, I knew and I know that he's going to be one of the most powerful leaders that we've had. I mean, like, we've had a lot of great leaders, but he's going to be a very powerful leader because of his willingness to be honest and vulnerable and true and authentic. He's not trying to act like he thinks a leader should, like stiff and perfect. He's just being himself, and that is a really incredible leadership quality, and just a human quality is to just be yourself in your true, authentic honesty. And that all starts with becoming aware of your thoughts, not judging them, owning them. And then once you're comfortable, you can start to question and change them, and change them not just like you're slapping a Band-Aid on there, but change them like you are truly changing, like you're discovering yourself from the inside out. Okay, these questions will help you discover yourself from the inside out, not the outside in. You're not trying to change the outside to make yourself feel better or look better or appear better so that your insides will follow. You're starting on the inside and literally growing along with yourself. Okay? So hopefully I'm not just repeating myself over and over again, but I really feel like these thoughts are important. And I wanted to end with one last quote from Byron Katie. And this is so incredible because it helps me to see that how even when other people seem like they can be so annoying, it's actually one of the greatest gifts that we can have. She says, our parents, our children, our spouses, our friends will continue to press every button we have until we realize what it is that we don't want to know about ourselves yet. They will point us to our freedom every time. You guys, oh my gosh, Byron Katie, I love her. You guys, she nailed it. Obviously, she nails it again and again and again. Our parents and our friends and anyone who pushes our buttons that annoys us and angers us, you're just pointing us to the one thing about ourselves that if we were to come to terms with that thing, we would have freedom. So if we were able to, whatever my friend says to me that really annoys me and I think she's being offensive, if I pay attention to that, to what I am learning about myself from that and what is annoying myself about myself, become aware of it and meet it with these questions. I flip it. I realize it's just a thought. Let it go. Anyone who annoys the crap out of you is helping you find your greatest and sweetest freedom. I truly believe that. And I guess that's one way to get excited about seeing your in-laws for Christmas or to go see the family for Christmas, is that you now have the tools to find your greatest inner peace and strength no matter what anyone says or does. Because you're going to get to know yourself so dang well, and you're going to get to love yourself so dang well no matter where you're at in the spectrum, or no matter where you are on your mountain hike trail. You're just starting. It's okay. It's okay. Okay? So I hope that's really helpful to you guys. I love you guys, and I hope that you've found these trainings really helpful. So definitely email me with any questions you have about like how to apply this in your life. I'll email you back. I will give you the answer, not the answer, but I'll give you my take on it and what I might do in your situation if that's what you want. So email me with any questions. Bring your questions to the next meeting and I'll answer it. We still have 4 more, wait a second, today's day 5. We still have 5 more awesome sauce days to go. It's going to be a blast, you guys. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you on Monday. Tomorrow is a day of rest. It's going to be wonderful. So just chill, enjoy your Sunday, and I will see you on Monday, guys. Okay, bye-bye.